Welcome to Priscilla Tale, a home of African interesting and engaging stories. Please feel free to subscribe to our channel, share and leave your comments at the comment section. Thanks. The story. Joy and Michael had been married for 18 years, waiting and hoping for a child. They tried everything: medical treatments, herbal remedies, fasting, and prayer vigils. They even considered adoption, but something in their hearts kept telling them to wait just a little longer. Though the wait was painful, they clung to their faith, believing that God had not forgotten them. One ordinary morning, Joy felt a strange sensation. At first, she ignored it, but it kept coming back. She told Michael, and they decided to visit the doctor. Sitting in the clinic, they didn't dare hope too much. But when the doctor walked in with a smile, they knew something miraculous had happened. "Congratulations," the doctor said. "You're pregnant." Joy burst into tears, and Michael fell to his knees right there in the office, thanking God. The pregnancy was not easy. Joy was often tired and had to spend weeks on bed rest, but Michael was her rock. He cooked, cleaned, prayed over her, and made sure she felt loved every single day. When their son was finally born, it was as though all their years of waiting had been erased. They named him David, a symbol of their faith in God's promise. The day of dedication. When David turned 6 months old, Joy and Michael decided to dedicate him to God in a grand ceremony at their church. It was a day of celebration. The church was decorated with flowers, and the choir sang Joy's favorite hymn, "Great is Thy Faithfulness." The pastor held baby David in his arms, praying a powerful blessing over him. "This child is a gift," he said. "A testament to God's faithfulness. May he grow to be a light in this world." After the service, there was a reception in the church courtyard. Family, friends, and neighbors gathered to celebrate. Joy and Michael were the center of attention, with everyone congratulating them on their beautiful baby. David, meanwhile, had fallen asleep in his carrier. He was placed on a pew near the altar, away from the noise of the crowd. The forgotten miracle. The celebration stretched into the afternoon. Joy thought Michael was keeping an eye on David, and Michael assumed Joy had him. By the time the guests started leaving, the couple was so tired they climbed into their car without double-checking. It wasn't until they arrived home that Joy noticed something was wrong. "Michael," she said, her voice trembling, "where's David?" Michael froze, his face pale. "I thought you had him." Joy screamed, "We left him." "Oh, my God, we left him at the church." Panic set in. They jumped back into the car and sped back to the church, Michael driving faster than he ever had. Joy prayed aloud, tears streaming down her face. "Lord, please keep him safe. Please, Lord. Don't let anything happen to our baby." When they reached the church, the sun was setting, and the doors were locked. Michael banged on the door, shouting, "Open up. Please." The caretaker, Mr. Amos, lived nearby. Hearing the noise, he hurried over with a set of keys. "What's going on?" he asked, alarmed. "Our baby," Joy sobbed. "We left him inside." Amos quickly unlocked the door, and they rushed in. The sanctuary was dim and silent, but there, on the pew near the altar, was David, still sound asleep in his carrier. Joy collapsed to her knees, cradling him in her arms. Michael knelt beside her, holding both of them as tears streamed down his face. "Thank you, Lord," he whispered. "Thank you for protecting him." Life goes on. The story of David being left in the church quickly spread through the community. Some people teased Joy and Michael, calling them the forgetful parents, but most saw it as a powerful testimony of God's protection. David grew up surrounded by love and faith. His parents often told him the story of how God watched over him, even when they had momentarily failed. It became a family lesson: God never forgets us, even when we forget. David was a bright and kind child. At school, he was always the first to help a friend in need. At church, he volunteered eagerly, often staying back to clean the pews or arrange hymnals. A test of faith. When David turned 16, the family faced another trial. Michael fell seriously ill, diagnosed with a heart condition that required expensive treatment. The once joyous home was filled with worry. Joy took on extra shifts at work, and David worked part-time after school to help with the bills. One night, David sat beside his father's bed. "Dad," he asked quietly, "why does God let these things happen? Haven't we always trusted him?" Michael, weak but steadfast in his faith, replied, "David, faith isn't about avoiding hardships. It's about trusting God through them. Remember, he never forgot you when you were a baby. He won't forget us now." David carried those words with him. He organized prayer meetings at the church, inviting the community to intercede for his father. Slowly, Michael began to recover. The doctors couldn't explain it, but Joy and David knew it was another miracle. God's plan revealed. At 18, David felt a calling. During a quiet moment of prayer, he realized God was leading him toward ministry. He told his parents, who were overjoyed. "You've always been special, David," Joy said. "God saved you for a reason." David went on to study theology and eventually returned to their hometown to become the pastor of the same church where he was dedicated. On his first Sunday as pastor, he stood at the pulpit, looking out at the congregation. Among them were his parents, beaming with pride. "I was left here once," David began, his voice steady but emotional. "As a baby, my parents accidentally forgot me in this very church. But God didn't. He kept me safe because he had a plan for me. And today, I stand before you as proof that God never forgets his promises." The congregation was deeply moved. Many who had felt abandoned by life found hope in David's story. David's ministry grew, touching countless lives. His journey became a reminder that even when we falter, God remains faithful, guiding us toward his perfect plan.